You know, we've all been there. A meal shows up cold, a product you just bought is broken, or the service is just not quite right. But what if you could complain and actually get what you want, and maybe even leave things better than you found them? Well, in this explainer, we're going to master the art of the polite complaint. We'll look at how to turn a really negative experience into a positive one.
It's such a common feeling, isn't it? That little bit of dread, that worry that you're going to come across as angry or demanding. But what if you could complain with total confidence, knowing you'll be heard and actually helped? That's exactly what we're going to break down today.
Okay, so before we jump into the exact phrases you can use, let's start with a really simple secret that's going to instantly make your complaints sound clearer and, honestly, more professional. It's a tiny distinction, but it makes a huge difference.
I know it seems really basic, but this little detail can change everything. Complain is the verb, it's what you're doing. Complaint is the noun, it's the thing you have. So starting with, I'd like to make a complaint, instead of I want to complain, just sets a more formal, more structured tone right away. That's pro tip number 1.
So, here's the most important takeaway. Being successful isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being polite and, well, a little indirect. See, when you soften your language, people are way more likely to want to help you out, instead of getting defensive. It's a simple little psychological switch that just opens the door to getting a real solution.
All right, enough theory. Let's get to the practical stuff. We're going to build your politeness toolkit. These are the exact words and phrases that will make your complaints work pretty much every single time. You might want to get ready to take some notes.
Okay, this right here might be the most powerful tool in your kit. Modal verbs. Think of this table as a politeness style. Can is pretty informal and direct. Could is better, it's more standard. But if you really want to be polite and non-confrontational, you dial it all the way up to would. It's such a small word, but it has a huge impact.
Think of these phrases as your secret weapon for getting started. They immediately show that you're not looking for a fight. Kicking things off with, "I'm sorry to bother you," or "there seems to be a problem," creates this collaborative feeling, like you're inviting the other person to help you solve it together.
Okay, let's put all this into action with a super common situation. Imagine you bought a new shirt or something. You get it home and you find a flaw. Let's watch how we can build this into an effective, polite complaint.
So notice the phrasing. It's not accusing anyone of anything. "Excuse me, I'd like to make a complaint" is confident, it's clear, but it's framed in a way that invites teamwork instead of a fight. You've stated the issue without making the employee feel like they're being attacked. That's step 1. Now let's talk about the solution. And this is where the magic really happens. Look at this comparison. "I want" just sounds so demanding. But saying "I'd rather" or "I was hoping" turns that demand into a simple request. Same thing with "you need to" versus "would it be possible?" That second option gives the other person some power, and it makes it so much easier for them to say yes.
And there you have it, the perfect closing. "I was rather hoping" is such a great, polite, slightly indirect way to suggest what you want. You're not ordering them to do anything, you're just laying out what you'd like to see happen, and that makes it super easy for them to agree.
Now, of course, every complaint has two sides. So let's flip the script. What does it look like when someone handles a complaint perfectly? This is where that idea of turning a problem into an opportunity really comes into play.
Okay, a classic restaurant scene. The customer is definitely not happy. He says, "Look at this steak. I asked for medium and this thing is way overcooked." You can feel the tension, right? The waiter, Fred, has a choice to make. He can get defensive, or he can see this as a chance to provide some truly amazing service.
And what does he do? He follows a simple but really powerful 4-step process. Listen, apologize, act, and follow up. Let's break down exactly what he does and why it works so well.
First, and this is probably the most important part, Fred doesn't argue. He doesn't make excuses, he just listens. He makes eye contact, and he gives the customer his full attention. That simple act shows respect, and it validates the customer's frustration, which immediately brings the tension in the room way down.
Next up, a simple, sincere apology. He doesn't blame the chef or the kitchen, he just says, "I'm very sorry." Those few words are incredibly powerful, you know? They show he's on the customer's side. Then, boom, immediate action. He doesn't ask, "Well, what do you want me to do?" He takes ownership and offers a clear, proactive solution. "I'll get you another steak." That tells the customer the problem is being solved right now.
And finally, after the new steak arrives, Fred follows up. He checks in to make sure the new one is perfect. This last step is so crucial. It closes the loop, it rebuilds trust, and it turns a really bad experience into this memorable example of great service. He didn't just fix a steak, he made that restaurant look amazing.
All right, you've seen the tools, you've seen the role plays. Now it's your turn to handle the situation. Let's do a quick quiz to see what you've learned.
So imagine you're the server here. The place is packed, things are getting a little chaotic, and customers have issues. Let's see how you'd respond using that 4-step framework. Ready?
First one. A customer points to their glass and says, "It's dirty. What's the best thing you can say to fix this? And fix it fast." Think about it. Let's see the answer.
Yep, that is the perfect response. You've got a quick, sincere apology, "I do apologize," and it's followed by immediate, clear action, "I'll get you another cup right away." Problem solved. No fuss, no drama, just a solution.
Okay, next table. A customer complains their coffee is cold. What's the right move here? Take a second to think.
And there it is, another great answer. It starts with empathy, "I'm sorry to hear that," and it ends with a promise to take action. You're acknowledging how they feel and you're committing to a solution. That is excellent customer service. So let's end with this thought. A complaint isn't just a problem that needs to be solved. When you approach it the right way, from either side, it actually becomes an opportunity. It's a chance to show respect, to find a solution, and to build even more trust and loyalty than if nothing had ever gone wrong in the first place. So the next time you have a complaint or you receive one, remember that. It's not a confrontation, it's a conversation.